Hello everyone, this is Mike Turner and it's the middle of 2020, actually end of July, 1st of August, and it's time to do a mid-year real estate analysis and forecast. So much more than just a little, update, 1 minute, 2 minute update. I got a larger, more deep dive to really show you what's really going on in the housing market, particularly here in the Boise area. So I've broken this up into parts so I don't overwhelm anyone, try to keep these videos relatively shorter. So I'm just going to jump right in. Okay, so I've got some really cool charts to share with you from the Boise Regional Realtors. They did a mid-year analysis and I'm able to use a lot of that data to help show you what's going on. So this first chart's really cool because it shows you the United States and what's from basically over a period of time, what state is growing the fastest, or has the most equity. Home prices are going up the most. And so this is what I'm seeing is Idaho came in number one out of all 50 states. So if you're wondering if Idaho is a good place to live, yeah. We're not the only ones who live here to apparently see that because Idaho is doing really well. And there's a lot of reasons why this might be the case or is the case. But I just wanted you to know if you are a homeowner in Idaho, you're doing well, right? Because home prices are up. You have more equity over the last year through quarter one of 2020 than other states on average. Okay, so that's the first piece of information. So overall, Idaho's doing good. So now let's really kind of get into how is Idaho being impacted by all the craziness from this pandemic. Okay, so first off, let's just show you why we're getting some of the numbers we're getting, right? Why are we doing better than other states? And a lot has to do with this months of supply that this chart kind of shows you. You can't really see all the numbers here. Let me see if I can move this. Okay, that's a little better. So what you can see down here is this is back in 2008, right here is when our inventory levels, okay, because that's what we're talking about in this one, is this was all about inventory, supply. And 2008, supply was high. And then the difference of the two colors, the orange one is new construction. So market shifted, tanked, whatever, 2008, fall of 2008 particularly. And so inventory really shot up in resale homes. Okay, this is the blue. And because everybody kind of froze and stopped doing stuff. And new construction, though, kind of continued on and even peaked because people were still building or people just weren't buying new construction. So the inventory really got saturated here. And so anyway, fast forward, this is going through, the first part of 2020, and you can see it's crazy low. It's low as as we've been monitoring it ever. So our inventory levels are really low, which is just keeping our home prices up and increasing. So yeah, this is a big part of why Idaho's seeing the numbers we're seeing as far as home values. Okay, in this chart, we're going to talk, it shows you more about what's happening since kind of COVID hit. And so this is a kind of weekly home buyer activity in Ada County from January to June 2019 versus 2020. So the dotted line is 2019, right? When with no COVID. And the solid is 2020. And of course, you can see how we were off to a great start this year. And then COVID hit and boom, it dropped, right? Home sales dropped. It didn't stop, but they dropped significantly. Here's the stay-at-home order. And then, okay, things started loosening up. Real estate was considered essential, and business really picked up as far as home sales go. And as you can see, now we're coming in above even last year's numbers. So, yeah, we've been impacted and we'll continue to be activity, but check this out. So this home sellers activity. Okay, same kind of story, right? So start of the year off, and this is, new listings coming on the market. And now you can see, once COVID hits, it's less than. So this is why our inventory is even tighter than it was last year. And to put that really in perspective, let me show you this final chart I'm going to do for today. Okay, so let me move this guy here. Okay, down. So this is existing resale homes. Okay, and so we're comparing again January to June 2019 and January to June 2020. And you can see that the inventory is this first line, okay, and down 50%. Pause for effect. Okay. This is why our market's really good. This is why the last four homes I put on the market sold like that. It's also because I'm really good at listing homes. But on top of that, we got amazing prices. We got and sellers are super happy. Okay, and this is part of what's driving that. There's just not that much to choose from if you're out there shopping for homes. And so that's the main one. These other ones, are pretty similar year over year. Median price, though, worth mentioning, up 11% overall. Okay. Now, new construction, surprising thing for a lot of people because they see a lot of building, but it's also inventory down compared to last year, 37%. Okay, those aren't small. That's not a small number, and sell price up about 8%. So yeah, the supply, just like any, basic, supply and demand economies, there's not that much supply. There's still a lot of demand, and our home prices that keep going up. So what does this mean for you? Okay, so I'm going to talk about this more in part two, but overall, I'd say like I was just at a listing appointment the other day, and the seller asked me a really good question, and that was, okay, it's really good right now. It seems like, what about next month? What about in 6 months? Because you're trying to time when they're going to sell, which is a really good question. And the answer is, I think next month you're still doing okay. Normally the market slows down by this kind of late summertime and picks up a little bit in the fall, but overall compared to the first half of the year, it's a little bit cooler. But this first half of the year got all messed up, right? Because of COVID. And so it still seems like it's still tracking on really well. So all signs look like it's doing pretty well. So if you're thinking about less than the next 60, 90 days, I think you're going to be fine. However, at some point, this will catch up to us. And again, I'm going to come into this. Next in part two, I'm going to be looking at foreclosures. What's happening with that? Have we seen new foreclosures coming? Because there's something's got to give with all the economic impacts going on. And so I don't know what it means long term yet. I know that Boise's positioned better, way better than a lot of other communities, but at some point the shoe's going to drop. And so let's talk about that more in part two. Again, in the meantime, if you have questions, just reach out to me. I'm Mike Turner. I like talking about real estate, and I'm happy to help you answer your tough real estate questions. And until next time, see you then.